Hey, thanks for joining me. So Charlie and Riley and I went out for a nice walk this morning and been out taking a few pictures and having some fun. But I had a viewer reach out to me the other day with a question that I thought was kind of important. They wanted to know how do you take pictures that look more professional, that don't look like snapshots? And I think that's a fair question for anyone learning about photography. They're wanting to maybe, develop enough as a photographer to start working professionally. And so they're curious, how do I do that? How do I get my pictures to look more than just, like amateur snapshots, that people take on vacation or whatever. And it's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not like I can tell you some magical thing and all of a sudden your pictures are going to look fantastic. That's not the way it works. But if I were to boil it down to, say, 6 items that I would say you really need to conquer or learn, that would be these. So let's start off. The first one is learning to see light. Photography, if you look at its origins, the word actually means painting with light. And it's a process to learn to do this, but you have to actually start looking at things a little differently. Learning to see light means learning about recognizing, the quality of light, shadows and bright areas and contrast and texture and mood and all these things that are what, light adds to a picture. And if you ignore that, if you just look at the subject and you really don't think about the light, then your pictures will always look kind of like snapshots. One of the first things I do when I go out to photograph is I study the light. Is it cloudy? Is it bright? Is it kind of hazy? Is it, are there, what do the clouds look like? Am I going to get, some light that my favorite kind of light is almost bright enough to leave distinct shadows, but not quite, so it's a little softer, but you still got good contrast. And, and all those things are things that you just kind of have to learn to watch for. When you approach a scene, you have to learn to study the light. So this first thing, learning to truly see light is, I think, super important. The next thing is understanding your camera and the photographic process well enough that they basically disappear. So what do I mean by that? So when you're trying to take a picture of something, especially if you're having to work quickly, you don't have time to think about how to operate your camera or to get the correct exposure. You need to learn your camera equipment well enough that every button, every dial, everything kind of, where it is, you can use it without thinking about it too much. When it comes to the photographic process, understanding what shutter speeds and apertures and exposure, is all about, and how to get the image look you want without having to think through the process right in the middle of when you're trying to take a picture. So again, this is one of those things that takes experience, but the more hands-on you have with your equipment, the better you'll get it. You can't pick a camera up once every 8 months or 10 months or, when you go on vacation and be, able to fluently work with it. So knowing your camera is so important. I remember when I was a kid, my dad was a professional photographer and he would get a new camera. And I remember distinctly him getting a Pentax 6x7, film camera. And if you've ever been around one of those or owned one of those, they're kind of loud. And he and my mom were, my bedroom was right across the hall from theirs and doors were open. They were just laying in bed watching TV. And my dad's got this 6x7 and he's winding it and clunk real loud. The shutter and the mirror on that thing just make a horribly loud sound. And he was playing with it. Finally, my mom had enough and made him put it away. But the fun thing was that knowing that my dad was, when he went out on assignment with that camera, he was going to know it intimately. And I do that sometimes. I'll get a new camera and I'll literally sit in bed. Fortunately, they're a lot quieter these days. And I can sit in bed and I can go through all the menus and I can understand where all the controls are. And on today's cameras, you know, I can set every button and dial to do what I want. I can make the dials rotate and increment the way I want. You know, it's all can be customized. But I spend enough time with the camera to get completely familiar with it so that when I need to be able to manipulate or change something as I'm taking pictures, I don't really have to think about it. So that's number 2, understanding your camera and the photographic process. The next one is you got to take a lot of pictures, thousands of them. And you have to study those pictures honestly. You have to look at those pictures and say, this is good and I like it because of, you know, this, or I don't like this picture. But you have to understand why you don't like it. What makes it one picture good and another one not. And so you have to be willing to honestly look at your pictures and say, you know, this one, you know, is really bad and this is why it's bad, or I don't like this one and this is why I don't like it. And, you know, and when they're good, you have to recognize that too. But it all is about taking literally thousands of pictures, studying those pictures, learning from each one. I promise you, every good photographer, every great photographer has just a trail of, you know, mediocre images behind them that, you know, they've created and didn't really like. Now, during that process, you're going to make maybe a bunch of images at first that you really don't like and maybe just a few that you really do like and others like. And that ratio will change over time. As you take more and more pictures, the ratio of good ones to bad ones, that number increases. So there comes a point where most of the pictures you're taking are, you know, pretty good, and then just a few of them you're kind of like, nah, you know. But you have to take a lot of pictures. That's just it. There's no way to do this and not just, you know, take a lot of pictures. It's just part of the process. So take lots of pictures. But be honest about them, study them, judge them yourself. If you can't really, you know, be really honest with yourself about the pictures, don't be afraid to have another experienced photographer look at them and critique them. Okay. The next thing I would say would be to learn patience. Taking photographs requires a lot of patience. Henry Cartier-Bresson talks about the decisive moment when all the elements come together at the right time and you're ready to capture that image. So a lot of great photographs are the result of somebody having the patience to wait until things are perfect. Snapshots happen because I raise my camera up and just take a picture of something in front of me. But if the light is changing quickly, or if the subject matter is moving around, maybe you're waiting for the right gesture, the right expression, the right position, but you patiently wait until things are just like you want them to be, whether it's the subject itself or the lighting or, you know, some object in the scene that you want out of the scene to finally move away. When everything comes together, you're ready to take the picture, but that requires patience. And sometimes you'll walk up on a scene and you'll look at it and, you know, maybe it's a landscape kind of thing. There really isn't much changing, but it may seem that way, but look at the light, you know, are there clouds moving in and out? What's changing about the scene? So look at each scene carefully, study it, understand what's changing, what's moving, and decide when that right moment's going to be. What are you wanting in the image that will need to happen before you get the image you want? So patience is key. The next thing I would say would be to study great photographers. Photography didn't just appear out of nowhere. It starts with a lot of great painters, you know, artists that were masters, and you can study those paintings, study the photographs of great photographers. This is where you're really going to learn. You know, you can try to learn all the composition rules and all that kind of stuff that you want, but where you really learn to understand what a good picture looks like is by studying great pictures. This is where you're going to learn composition. This is where you're going to learn your own style, how to see where the artist that took that picture, you know, what kind of mood was he creating with the image? Was he trying to tell a story with the picture? You know, what was he accomplishing with this picture? You know, how successful is it? You know, how did it, you know, how does it affect you emotionally? And all these things will help you understand what makes a great picture. It's impossible really just to study your own pictures and get to this place where you understand what a great picture is. You have to understand what is really meant by a great picture. The last thing I would say is you have to accept that emotion matters more than perfection. Okay? There's another dog outside and they are getting all wound up. So, pictures that evoke emotion are much more well received than pictures that are technically perfect. Technically perfect pictures are quickly forgotten. Pictures that evoke emotion, you know, last forever. So anyway, that's my 6 suggestions, things to learn. I can post those in the description if you want to be able to read them. I would love to hear, you know, your thoughts on this. If you have any things you might want to add to it, and I tried to condense this down just to 6 items. I started off with a list of over a dozen, and I'm like, you know, no, I need to make this a little simpler, so I tried to get it down to 6. But I think if you'll focus on those 6 things, you'll find yourself taking a lot better pictures. Are you guys wanting to get out there and play with those other puppies? Well, I appreciate you joining me. Please leave me a comment if you have a question or something to add. And as always, thanks for watching. I think we're going to go on another walk and play with some other dogs.